Then back to her.
So, yeah, back to the intersection. How was it? Weird, right?
Yes.
What kind of weirdness? What made it weird?
Praying for one another.
Praying, why is praying awkward? What is it about it? Because you don't know if you're doing it right? Because you're embarrassed? What kind of...
Well, for me it wasn't like about like I don't know if I'm doing. It's like more of like saying I pray for you because of this in front of them. It's like not something like because you're kind of doing it because you have to, not because you're going to. It's just unnatural.
So it seems unnatural.
I feel like everyone was kind of like exposing each other, and like we were learning about things that like we were known, and like it was kind of weird because you feel like you know them like too well.
Too well?
Like I don't know, because you're not really. I mean, some people might be friends with really good friends, but like I wasn't really good friends with anyone in my group, so it was like I knew them.
So but now you do. You know something more about them, right? Maybe more than you wanted to know when you came in, but you know it nonetheless, right? Anybody else? If prayer is about establishing relationships and showing people that you care about them, then getting to know them is part of the deal. And that's the whole point about Jeanette Powell's idea that if we knew what somebody else was desiring or what they were going through that day, then we would treat them differently. The way that you know something about the other person affects how you talk to them, affects how you, whether you're nice to them, whether you're mean to them, whether you stay away from them, whether you pray for them or not. So even if you just assume that that person is loved by God, it's going to change the way you talk to them. And that is something that you can assume. Okay? Even if you don't know anything about the other person that you're sitting across from, the one assumption you can take into it is that they too are loved by God. So that should change how you talk to them. So if you ever get to know anything else about who they are, then that too changes how you talk to them and how you relate to them. And prayer, just like everything else in God's kingdom and God's love, is about relationships with one another. So the more you know about the other person, the more specific you can be to say, this is my prayer for you. This is what I hope for you. This is how I stand beside you. This is how I support you. So even though it's awkward, the whole point is to be vulnerable with each other, to learn something that you didn't know before, even if you feel like it's too much information. Because that's the vulnerability that allows you to see the backstory in each other. And then you can literally stand with each other in prayer. Okay? So the only way to not feel so awkward about all that is to practice it. The more you practice prayer, the better. Even if it's praying around the table at dinner time. Or praying at bedtime before you go to bed about things that happened during that day. Or praying when you first wake up in the morning and saying, God, I have no idea what's going to face me today, but I do know that you're with me. So help me to face it with joy. That's a good prayer. Please, God, help the people I meet today. Help them to understand that there's joy in me that I can share with them. Those are those kinds of intercessory prayers that you can do every day, and just practice it. And it won't feel so awkward. It'll become an expectation. And your image about who God is and how you interact with God is going to change along with that. And how you expect other people to act is going to change in the midst of that. Prayer has power. And that's the power of the transformation, is because your expectations change and your perception about how things work in the world changes. That's power. It may not be the power of strength that you think of when you think of the word power, but to change things takes a great deal of power. And prayer is one of those powerful tools. So the more you know about it, the more possibility for change you have in your life. Okay? That's what we study about prayer here. Amen. Thanks.